Kizza Besigye, the opposition doyen, early this month announced he would not contest a presidential election. It would be the first time since 2001 that Besigye has not sought to be on the ballot paper against his implacable foe, Yoweri Museveni, a man he served as his personal doctor during the Bush struggle between 1981 and 1986. A fast-rising star in the NRM politics, Besigye served in coveted positions including Minister of State in the President's office.
I would like to inform you that we have already told the Minister here to ensure that I think the vehicles are coming, are they not? We want every chairman of a district to have a vehicle as a chairman.
National Political Commissar and Head of Logistics and Engineering in the UPDF. In 1999, he jolted the establishment when he went against the unwritten credo to criticize the system. The dossier, entitled An Insider's View of How the NRM Lost the Broad Base, accused the NRM of becoming a sectarian kleptocracy and a one-man dictatorship. Besigye was charged before a court-martial for airing his views in the wrong forum. In October 2000, he announced that he would run against Museveni in the 2001 elections. Thrown into the headwinds of elective politics, Besigye attempted to ascend the greasy pole. Perhaps the 2006 election was a watershed moment. Barely after being released on what court ruled were trumped-up charges of rape and treason, Besigye gave the incumbent the fiercest challenge in an election. The Supreme Court ruled that many irregularities in the election had been recorded, but relied on the substantiality test to affirm the president's victory. Besigye's fabled tale in politics is peppered with beatings, torture and imprisonment in solitary. Today, he wears his scars like a badge of honor. But others argue that his street and abrasive confrontation with the regime could have pushed others in the party to the sidelines. They felt that the only idea which had been tested without success was at the forefront of the struggle and other plans discarded. This drove a wedge in the party as some formidable names departed from the FDC, including former party president Mugisha Muntu, who started the Alliance for National Transformation Party, and took others including former Secretary General Alice Alaso and former leader of opposition Winnie Kizza. Others like former East African Community Secretary General Amanya Mushega, former IGG Augustine Ruzindana, former leader of opposition Ogeyala Tigo, and former Kashari County Member of Parliament John Kazora took a back seat.
Yeah, there is a conflict resolution mechanisms are minimal in the party. Conflict resolution mechanisms are minimal. I can tell you that party has never been easy for many people. Even when Mugisha Muntu was the party president, there was a lot of tensions at the party headquarters. But he managed to keep the party together. He had a style in which he would resolve conflicts. Sometimes I think it would be within him, he dies quietly, but you would not see it coming out in the open. But the battles at our party have been there. Just like in many families, I think there are conflicts in many families, but you don't see them coming up.
If that is true, I cannot be a party to such comment. But also, I want to call upon my leadership at Najana Kumbi, not to make the FDC a laughing party. We were the very people who said we won the election and we formed the government. There is a people's government. You are all aware. How can we go ahead again to appoint the minority leader of the opposition? The same government. That is fooling. I cannot allow the party I belong to make the party I belong to, which I formed, we sacrificed, we tear gas, to be a laughing stock. I think the leadership must take us seriously as the party members. We cannot go into this ping-pong thing. Can we do things correctly?
You are free to walk out. Madam, and those that think that the aspirations can be met within the FTC will join the FTC. So it is reorganizing, re-strategizing, repositioning ourselves for the final assault.
But to legions of his supporters who wanted him to be their flag bearer in the 2021 polls, it's his charisma, caustic tongue and ability to withstand all fads and whims thrown at him that make him indispensable.
Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye who has molded me and taught me a lot of things, that has instilled confidence in me to come and journey with you. My call to you, fellow comrades, is for us to walk hand in hand, is for us to move shoulder by shoulder. I do know that we will succeed in bringing liberation to Uganda.
Insiders, however, revealed that the tide was unfavorable for Besigye to contest for an election with a predetermined winner, and courts of law much reluctant to engage in judicial activism to annul an election marred with irregularities. Besigye was not ready to legitimize the incumbent's victories. There is a concern that whoever succeeds him as the FDC flag bearer could perform dismally, and this may affect the fortunes of the party even at parliamentary level.
If you look at the FDC without Kizza Besigye as a weaker party, that's the national condition of all of them. It's not about the FDC, it's about all the other parties. You look at Museveni out of NRM, who might actually die from a heart attack as a party. If you look at NUP without Bobi Wine, if you look at now, after Semogere and Savannah Chisto, DP is really struggling. After Obote, UPC is struggling. You know, the parties are all the same. Even ANT, without Mugisha Muntu, it will be as good as dead. All right. So, what looks like an apparent weakness in the FDC is a national condition of the state of our politics.
The struggle to remove the junta is everyone's struggle. It is my struggle, it is your struggle, it is everyone's struggle. So we will have to rethink, we will have to refocus on ourselves first, before we think about Dr. Besigye as an individual. He's just but one person.
The jury is out whether Bobi Wine, Mugisha Muntu and Norbert Mao can match his popularity during the 2021 presidential election. On Friday, Besigye held a news conference at Katonga Road, Nakasero in Kampala to explain how he will engage in a new phase of the struggle.
What happened to us? What happened, which we are seeking to cure with this plan, is that our power was forcefully removed from us, forcefully captured.
So how does he plan to ensure that it succeeds beyond the sloganeering and crack the armor of the regime?
We have already been fighting for quite some time now. We've been fighting intensely. And that's why we have wounds. You don't get wounds just like that. That's why some of our colleagues are in graves. We've been fighting. On our side, we have not yet taken guns, but we've been fighting. So you can fight with a whole range of means and a whole range of tools. The late freedom fighter Nelson Mandela said, as a freedom fighter, you learn the hard way. That's what he said. He said, you learn the hard way that the means of struggle is dictated by the oppressor.
Perhaps could this kick off in earnest a process to debate the political transition in Uganda, which could bear parallels with the Daniel Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki Raila Odinga case scenario? Could Besigye have sacrificed a pawn in a gambit that may pay off for him in the long run?
All right, so you need to understand the way the structure is set up. It's my deeply held conviction, and I think many others believe so, that the Museveni machinery, the electoral politics in this country is structured in a manner that only Museveni can win. All right? So if it is all the other contenders combined, Kizza Besigye, Mugisha Muntu, Bobi Wine, Norbert Mao, James Akena, if they came together to put up a solid challenge against Mr. Museveni, Museveni will still win. So weak or strong, the effect is different, but not to the election. Who wins? All right? So the danger for me in this context is against Mr. Museveni. Kizza Besigye not standing actually hurts Museveni more than it hurts the opposition. right? Because if you're Museveni, you want to win an election against a seemingly stronger candidate.
At 64, Besigye may lack the youthful agility and the verve to confront the gun-toting and pepper-spraying coterie of security personnel during the high-octane election cycle. But his 20-year experience in the trenches of Uganda's politics peppered with dark arts placed him at a vantage point. For the first time, Besigye will watch from the sidelines as the election pans out. He could be able to direct his agenda without the distraction of watching his votes being stolen. But to effectively play this role and marshal support across the divide, analysts believe Besigye must listen to his critics, appeal to moderates and other alternative views.
But there's not been a concerted effort to kick Museveni out through street protests, which is the most legitimate way you can actually kick Museveni out of office. There hasn't been a concerted effort, right? And if there should be, it should be out of the press. Such struggles are not captured in the media, right?
For now, either the party president Patrick Amuriat or the national chairperson Waswa Birigwa will be the flag bearer for the opposition, but at Katonga Road, Besigye will try a new war formation in the treacherous fields against a strong adversary. What does he need to get right that he hasn't in the past? Besigye joined the liberation struggle in his early 20s, and by 2021, he will have clocked about 40 years in the struggle. To his acolytes, he had not been cheated. He came agonizingly close to capturing power. Regime opponents feel that Besigye has been relegated towards retirement, and his ability to capture the seat of power is so distant that it shimmers like a mirage in a desert. But given the unpredictability of political events in sub-Saharan Africa, it would be unwise to rule him out.
Ambitions of Museveni, or Mugabe, or Mubarak, or Bashir, they are not different, right? Now, men like him don't leave office through elections. So if you think about transiting from Museveni to somebody else, you want to talk about politics outside of electoral processes.
Will be inked in the annals of history.
We shall, one Uganda, one people. God bless you.
Yet with or without capturing the Holy Grail, Besigye's valiant effort in ending an imperial presidency, advocating for democracy and the rule of law, will be inked in the annals of history. Irene Abalo, NTV.